Okay, let me move on to the Middle East because you brokered these incredible deals. You actually presented peace in the Middle East to the Biden administration. Now we're seeing rockets firing at Israel every day. President Trump made the Middle East safer by isolating Iran. Your thoughts on the policies that the Biden administration are taking to try to get the U.S. back into the Iran deal? Are the Abraham Accords now in jeopardy?
I think the Abraham Accords will survive because it was good for the people of the United Arab Emirates, of Bahrain, and of Israel. I think those leaders will ensure that these accords survive. But every single step that the Biden administration has taken to date puts them at greater risk and puts those friends and allies and partners of ours in the Middle East at greater risk. There is, Maria, a direct line. There is a direct line between appeasement and war. We worked for 4 years to create peace and stability in the Middle East, and we made clear to the Palestinian Authority we're not going to underwrite you. We're not going to send American taxpayer money to the Palestinians while you're still committed to wiping Israel off the face of the earth. This administration came in and immediately began underwriting the Palestinians again. They handed billions of dollars over to the Iranians in terms of absence of enforcement of sanctions. The Iranians are underwriting the very terrorists who are firing rockets into Jerusalem and Tel Aviv today. This is crazy. This is bad for our friend and partner Israel. It's bad for the broader Middle East, and it puts American lives at risk as well. These sets of policies are completely 180 degrees out of the things that we now know. Maria, I'll give you one more example. You remember they said that exactly this kind of thing would happen if we moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. They said there'll be war, there'll be firing of rockets, and all things. Well, we moved to the embassy. None of that happened. When this administration refused to allow the Israelis to do the things that they need to do to defend themselves, that's when you get conflict like you see today between Israel and the Palestinians.
Yeah, we're going to show a graphic of the statement by President Trump about all of this. He said, when I was in office, we were known as the peace presidency because Israel's adversaries knew that the United States stood strongly with Israel, and there would be swift retribution if Israel was attacked. Under Biden, the world is getting more violent and more unstable because Biden's weakness and lack of support for Israel is leading to new attacks on our allies. Look, you just said it 1 month after the administration, these attacks are happening 1 month after the administration decided to send money, economic aid to the Palestinian Authority, including areas controlled by militant groups. Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio warned the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, against doing this. And just a few weeks ago, you told a group that Al-Qaeda is now based in Iran. So tell me about that. Iran is supplying arms to Hamas, the proxies, to fight against Israel as well.
Maria, it's crazy. You have U.S. diplomats sitting with the Islamic Republic of Iran's leadership in Vienna trying to decide exactly how many billions of dollars to give to that regime. What's that regime doing today that impacts people all across America? It is hosting al-Qaeda, the folks who took down the tower in New York now almost 20 years ago. The senior operational leadership is sitting in Tehran, and Americans are sitting in Vienna with the leaders in Tehran. That Iranian regime is underwriting the Hamas terrorists, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorists, who are firing rockets on Israelis into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, where many Americans reside, putting American lives at risk. The fact that this administration is so wedded to this JCPO, so it's almost an article of faith for them. And it puts American lives at risk. It doesn't secure American freedom, and it's bad for global stability and certainly for our friends and allies in the Middle East.
Secretary, real quick, your reaction to this this open letter from 120 plus retired generals and admirals signed an open letter this week questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 presidential election, also Biden's fitness to lead, as we watch open borders where narcotics are coming in, killing our people, 90,000 overdoses in the last year, largely due to fentanyl coming into this country. Tell me about that letter, though, from the retired generals. What did you make of that?
Well, I know this. We've got to figure out how to host secure elections that the American people have confidence in. That has to happen, Maria. Our republic depends on this. The Democrats' solution to this is something called H.R. 1. They want to make sure that no American ever has to show an ID to vote. That is crazy. They want to make sure that your money, my money, taxpayer money, goes to fund candidates from the national treasury. I mean, this is not how you secure these elections. The way you do it is the way you see state legislatures all across the country. They're working to build out secure systems. That's the right approach.
Okay. All right. Secretary, it's great to see you this morning. We have many more questions for you on the border.
Yes, ma'am.
And on
Good
the
to be with
Colonial
you.
Pipeline. We'll do it on another day. Thank you, sir. Great to see you. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.